We're going to start off here with the Talmud Sanhedrin for those who want to learn Daf Yomi. Dine mamanois b'shloisha, monetary cases, money cases, civil disputes. These are judged by a court of 3 judges. Gezelus v'chavalois b'shloisha, cases of robbery and bodily injury, are judged also by 3. Nezek v'chati nezek, claims of full damages and half damages as well. Tashlume kefil v'tashlume arba v'chamisha b'shloisha, for 2-fold compensation and 4-fold and 5-fold compensation are judged by a court of 3. Any of those situations which would be 2-fold, 4-fold, or 5-fold of compensation would be judged by a query of 3. Claims against a rapist, a seducer, and claims of a defamer are judged by a court of 3. Divrei Rabbi Meir. So these are the words of Rabbi Meir. And the sages say, Motzi Shemra, the claim of a defamer, Be'esim Ushlosha, is judged by a court of 23. B'bnei sheyesh bo dine nefashos, because cases of defamation include capital cases. And we learn further that capital cases need 23. So, we heard that the words of Reb Meir was that it could be judged by a court of 3, but the Chachamim, the sages, are saying no, it has to be with a court of 23 because it's similar to capital cases in cases of someone who defames someone. Makus b'shloisha, cases where the defendant is accused of being liable to lashes, are judged by a court of 3. Mishum Rabbi Yishmael Amru, in the name of Rabbi Yishmael they said, Be'esrim Ushlosha, cases of lashes are judged by a court of 23. So we have a difference of opinion here. Rabbi Yishmael is saying, no, this also needs to be judged by 23 lashes. It's a serious thing to give lashes, according to Rabbi Yishmael. The intercalculation of a day into the month. This is when we used to go and create the Jewish calendar. When it was Rosh Chodesh, we'd have to go and look for the moon. So this was judged by 3 sages. Ibur Hashana Bishloisha, the intercalculation of the month into the year, is done by a court of 3. Divrei Rabbi Meir. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. But we have a difference of opinion coming. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, Bishlosha Maschilin, they begin considering whether to extend the year with 3 judges, Uvechamisha Noisin v'Noisnin, and they discuss it further with 5 judges. They begin with 3, but they're going to discuss it further with 5. V'goimrim b'shloisha, and they finalize it with 7 judges. So Rabbi Gamliel is not agreeing with Reb Meir, who says 3 judges for the intercalculation of the year. Because Rabbi Meir said 3, Rabbi Gamliel says you start with 3, you move to 5, then you go to 7. V'im gamru begimam uberes, but if they finalize intercalculation with 3 judges, then after the fact it would be valid. Semichas Zakenim ve'arifas egla b'shloisha, the smicha of the elders and the decapitation of the calf is done by 3 judges. Divrei Rabbi Shimon. These are the words of Rabbi Shimon. So we're speaking here about if the body of a murderer victim is discovered outside of a town in Eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, and is not known who killed him, the Torah requires the town near to take the body to a calf that has never worked and bring it to the valley of an unworked ground where it is decapitated. The Mishnah refers here to the process of measuring the distance between the corpse and the surrounding towns, to determine which town is closest and thus obligated to bring the calf and kill it. The decapitation itself, however, was not performed by the members of the Sanhedrin, but the court of the closest town. So the elders said that this was done by 3, and that was the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. But Rabbi Yehuda said, Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'chamisha, that this should be done with 5 judges, taking this calf outside of the town, and we'll go further into what that means in the Gemara. Continuing the Mishnah, Hachalitza v'ha-meunin b'shloisha. The chalitza, the throwing off of the shoe, done to the person whose husband dies, and they have to go and they're supposed to marry the brother if they didn't have any children. So that, and the refusal of a girl who doesn't wish to go and marry someone. So those are done by judges of 3. Neta revi'i umaiser sheni she'ein dama yudin b'shloisha, the appraisal of the 4th year fruit, or meiser sheni, which is the produce that is fifed according to the 7-year rotation. In the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th years is meiser sheni, and it must be separated from the produce. In addition to the meiser rishon, the first meiser, which is given to the Levi, the meiser sheni, the second 5, must be taken to Yerushalayim and eaten there, or to be redeemed with money and then spent in Jerusalem for food. Okay, so that was done by a judges of 3. Hekdeshos b'shloisha, consecrated items that were given to the temple are to be redeemed are appraised by 3. V'arochin hamitaltlin b'shloisha, erech valuations that are movable objects are appraised by 3. This will be discussed later. Rabbi Yehuda says, Echad mehen kohen. One of the 3 must be a kohen in these cases. V'ha-karkois tisha b'kohen. And the appraisal of consecrated lands is done by 9 men and a kohen. V'adam kayotze vohen. And likewise, a person must be appraised by 10. This is referring to a consecrated person, and thus means if a consecrated person wishes to redeem himself, he must have 10 people praise his value. So we're going to learn this more on Daf 15. Dinei nefashos, capital cases, be'esrim u'shlosha, are judged by a court of 23 judges. Haroveya v'hanirba be'esrim u'shloisha. A beast that sodomizes a person, or a beast that is sodomized by a man, is judged by a court of 23. Shenema v'haragta esoisha v'es habahema, as it is stated, and you shall kill the woman and the animal. That's how we learn that out from that pasuk in Vayikra 20:16. V'omer, and it is stated, v'es habahema haharogu, and the animal you shall kill. Sure, hanisko v'es v'mushloisha, an ox that is to be stoned is judged by a court of 23. Shenemar ashur yisokel v'gam ba'alav yumas, As it stated, the ox shall be stoned, and also its owner shall be put to death. Now we're speaking about an ox that goes and causes harm to a person. And there's cases where it hurts another animal. So right, but we're going to learn further that when it says that the owner of the ox shall be put to death, it doesn't mean literally. He has to pay the compensation in an amount of what this person is worth in damages. We'll learn that further in the Gemara. Hazoiv hari hadoiv hanomer v'habar deleis v'anochosh. If a wolf, a lion, or a bear or a leopard, a bardalis or a snake killed a person, misason be'esrim mishloisha, their sentence is by a court of 23. Okay, so these are all capital cases that would automatically, capital cases are 23. And let's see if we have any arguments to that. Rabbi Eliezer Oimer. Rabbi Eliezer says, Kol ha-koidem lehorgon zacha. Whoever is first to kill them acquires. What does that mean? The Gemara is going to explain this in Daf 15 further. Rabbi Kiva Oimer, Misasan be'esrim mishloisha. Their death sentence is passed by court of 23. If a wolf, a lion, a bear, a leopard, obviously or a snake in control of a person, is in charge of them, they have them as a pet or some type of work, they're going to be responsible, and that they have to go before a judge of 23. It's not like the animal itself gets carried in by himself to the court. So the master is in charge, and he's responsible, and he has to make compensation for any damages to other people's property or to their harm, their physical harm. Ein danim lo es ha-shevet v'lo es nivi ha-sheker v'lo es kohen gadol. We do not judge a tribe, a false prophet, or a kohen gadol. Elo al pi based in shel shivim ve'echod, except by a court of 71. Vein motziin limil chemes harashus. The Jewish people may not go out to discretionary war, a milchemes harashus. Let's see what Rashi says. The Torah obligates the Jewish people to wage war against the 7 nations that inhabit Eretz Yisrael prior to the Jewish conquest, against Amalek, against the attackers. Any other wars are classified as discretionary wars. They don't have to be fought. Elo al pi based in shel shivim ve'echad. So you must have a basin of 71 in order to go to those types of wars. Ein moisfin al ha'ir v'al ha'azal rois elo al pi based in shel shivim ve'echad. Additions to the city of Yerushalayim or its courtyards or temple may not be made except by a court of 71. Einois in Sanhedrin la shavatim, the Sanhedrin for the tribes may not be appointed. Elapi based in shel shivim ve'echad, except by a directive of the court of 71. Ein oisin ir hanidachas, a special town which was used for people who accidentally caused a murder. These towns could not be established except Elapi based in shel shivim ve'echad, except for a based in of 71. Ein oisin ir hanidachas basfar, a town on the border between Eretz Yisrael, Israel, and another country may not be designated as a subverted town below shalosh, nor may 3 subverted towns be designated. Avo oisin achas o shtayim, but 1 or 2 subverted towns may be designated. This is going to be in the Gemara later, 16. It's going to discuss this. Sanhedrin Gedoyla Haisel Shel Shivim Echad. The great Sanhedrin was composed of 71 judges. Uketano Shel Esrim Shloisha. And the lesser Sanhedrin, the lesser court, was composed of 23 judges. Minayin Hatla Gedoyla Shehi Shel Shivim Echad. From where is it derived that the great Sanhedrin is composed of 71 judges? Shenemar, it comes from the pasuk in Bamidbar 11:16. Esfali Shivim Ish Miziknei Yisrael. Gather for me the 70 men from the elders of Israel. Moshe al Gabehen. The original Great Sanhedrin was composed of 70 elders with Moshe Rabbeinu ruling over them. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says, Shivim. The Great Sanhedrin was composed of 70 judges. So he's differing from the 71 stated before. From where is it derived that a lesser Sanhedrin is composed of 23 judges? Where do we learn this? Shenemar, from the pasuk in Bamidbar 35:24-25. V'shaftu ha'eda v'hitzilo ha'eda. As is stated, and the congregation shall judge, and the congregation shall save. Eda shofetes v'eda matzeles. This teaches that the Sanhedrin contains a congregation of judges, and a congregation that saves argues to acquit. Harikan Esrim, since the congregation represents 10 judges, as the Mishnah is soon going to explain, we now have 20 judges. So the court must contain, according to Rashi, enough judges that if it's split, an extra person can come and weigh over the count. So there must also be at least 10 votes for conviction and 10 for acquittal, Rashi explains. Uminayin le'eda shehi asara. And from where is it derived a congregation is composed of at least 10 people? Shenemar, as it states, speaking about the 12 tribes. Ad Masai Hara Hazois Yatsu Yeshua v'Kalev, and Yeshua and Kalev are excluded from their number, as we learn it out from this pasuk that when spies reported back to Moshe Rabbeinu, 10 of the 12 spies defame the land, describing it as unconquerable, this land of Eretz Yisrael. And they caused the people to lose heart and reject the land, which in turn brought upon them Hashem's wrath and a decree that the generation of the Exodus would die in the desert and not reach the land. So this designation must obviously exclude the spies of Yeshua and Caleb, who betrayed the land in glowing terms and sought to rally behind the people behind Hashem's promise to conquer conquer it for them. So there must be 10 for either the acquittal or the opposite. And from where is it derived that we are to add another 3 judges? From the implication that which was stated, do not follow a majority to harm, to convict. We learn this out from Shemos 23:2. Shomea ani sheyeh imahen l'toivo. I may already infer that I should follow the majority to benefit or to acquit. By the Rashi is going to be explained by the Maharam, by decreeing that the court should not follow the majority when they vote to convict. The Torah already implies that the majority is followed when they vote for the acquittal. It's automatically assumed the other way. If this is so, if so, why is it stated further in the very same verse, according to the majority, the matter shall be decided? Not like you're tilting in favor of the majority to acquit shall be your tilting in favor the majority to convict. Rather, your tilting in favor of the majority to acquit can be based on a single vote majority. Whereas your tilting in favor of the majority to convict someone must be based on at least a 2-vote majority. So if you're going to go and let the person get off, then you only need 1 majority. But if you're going to go and convict them to a sentence, you have to be a majority of 2. Vein based in shakul. But a court cannot consist of an even number of judges. Moisifin aleihem oid echad. Therefore, we add to the first 22 yet another. Harikanes rimushloisha. Now we have 23 judges. So this is how we get to that number 23. The Sanhedrin. And how many people must there be in a city for it to be fit to have a Sanhedrin, to have this full Sanhedrin? 120. There has to be 120 people living in the town. Rabbi Nechemya Omer Motayim Ushloisha. A city must have 230 people for it to be fit to have a Sanhedrin. Keneged Sare Asoros, corresponding to the officers of the tents. So Rabbi Nechemya is not agreeing. He's saying, no, it's not 120. You have to have 230 people to be fit to have a Sanhedrin in your city. Now we go to the Gemara, and we turn the page. We're now on the second side of the page. Otu gezeilois v'chavolois lav dine mamanois ninu. Are cases of thefts and bodily injuries not monetary cases? Why does the Mishnah have to list thefts and bodily injuries separately? Why aren't they considered monetary cases? Right? Why are capital cases should be if someone dies? Why are these thefts and these bodily injuries where the person didn't murder anyone? Why can't they just be considered dinei mamanos in the same way? Right? You don't need the full Sanhedrin. Why not go? Why consider it separately? So the Gemara is an answer. Amar Rabbi Abahu. Rabbi said, "Mo hein katonei." The Mishnah is not implying. Is not simply providing examples, but rather teaching that those cases of the first clause are ma hein dine manois. What are the monetary cases meant by the first clause? Gezelos. V'chavolois, cases of thefts and bodily injuries. Avolohodois v'halavois lo. But cases of admissions and loans are not meant. Utzricha, and it is necessary to state both clauses in order to exclude admissions and loans. Dine Tana, dine mamanois. For the Tana had taught only the general statement that monetary laws are adduced by 3. Hava mina da'afilu hadois v'alavois. I would, if they only taught this, I would have said that even cases of admissions and loans are also included in the same category as those of theft and robbery. By making it and saying it separately, we know that they don't follow the same pathway. It has to be judged differently. Tana gezelos v'chavolos. Therefore, the Tana taught the specific cases of thefts and bodily injuries to indicate that only they are meant by the first clause. V'i Tana gezelos v'chavolos v'lo ketane dine mamanois. And if the Tana had taught only the specific clause of thefts and bodily injuries, but did not teach the general clause that monetary cases are adduced by 3, Havamina, I would have said, Hu hadin da'afilu adois v'alavois, that the same law applies even to cases of admissions and loans, that they're in the same category. Therefore, it needed to say both ways. And that which the Mishnah specifies cases of thefts and bodily injuries. Mishum di ikar gimel diksivei is because the primary scriptural source for the requirement of 3 judges, gezelus v'chalvalois kasivei, is written in regard to cases of thefts and bodily injuries. So we do specifically learn this out through the idea of theft and bodily injuries. That's how we learn out the other matters through the pesukim that speak of that of the gezelos and v'chavalois. The gezelos, the law of thefts, contains the primary source of the 3 judge court diksiv, as we learn out from the pasuk in Shemos 22 through 7 and 8. V'nik rav ba'alabayis ke'halokim. The master of the house shall approach the judge. We learn it from this pasuk. Everything we learn in the Talmud and Mishnah is coming from a pasuk that must originate in Torah Biksav, in the written Torah. Mali chava begufo, mali chava b'mano. What difference is there to me whether one injured someone else's body or his property? Once the Torah states the 3 judge requirement in regard to theft, which is tantamount to damaging another's property, as if the Torah is stating that the requirement is in all cases of damages. So I already learned out that you need 3. So why do I need to go and learn it more? This is where we're learning. We're learning it all from that pasuk. We learn it from the idea of theft and bodily injuries. We're learning out that all cases similar to this would need 3 judges. Tana mahen dine manos. Therefore, the Tana stated both clauses to teach in effect what are the monetary cases to which the 3 judge requirement applies. Gezelus v'chavalois, cases of theft and bodily injuries. Avodois v'alavois lo, but it does not apply to the cases of admissions and loans. So basically learning out that they're not exactly in the same category. They have to be treated differently. So the Tana first states that generally the monetary cases are judged by the 3, and then it states thefts and bodily injuries, specifically to indicate that they are the sum total of what is meant in a general clause. Otherwise, the specific mention is superfluous. It says Rashi. Ulamai, and from what aspect are cases of loans excluded? If you say that they do not require 3 judges, that cannot be for Abahu says Shnaim Shedanu Dinem Manos. If only 2 judges adjudicated monetary cases, Divrei Hakol and Dinehem Din, then their verdict, if they came to a verdict, it is no good. Thus, Rabbo holds that 3 judges are indeed necessary for all monetary cases. Elo de lo bi'inan mumchin. Rather, Mishnah must mean that loan cases are different in that we do not require ordained judges. So the whole point of all this must mean that we don't need someone with smicha to go and judge monetary cases. We could just get 3 people who are wise, and that's enough. But the Gemara objects to this. It says, "My kasavar." What does our Tana hold that would lead him to require 3 judges, but not ordained judges for loan cases? Kasavar eru peroshios kasu kan. If he holds a view that a mixture of scriptural sections is written here, the boy nami mumchin, then loan litigation should also require ordained judges. And if he holds the view that a mixture of scriptural sections is not written here, and it is for this reason that the ordination requirement does not apply to loan cases, then by the same reason, why do I need 3 judges for loan cases? Right? If you're going to throw out and say, we don't learn it all from these pesukim, and therefore you don't need judges that have smicha, that have the rabbinical decrees of knowledge, then you know what? The whole thing doesn't work. Why do I even need 3 at all? I can just have one person judge it. The Gemara resolves this question. La'olam kesavar eru parashiyos kasuv kan. Actually, our Tana holds that a mixture of scriptural sections is written here. Therefore, 3 judges are required for long cases. Ubedinuhu diliboy nami mumchin. And by rights, ordained judges should also be required. V'hai delo bi'ina mumchin. And the reason that we do not require ordained judges for long cases, mishum de Rabbi Chanina, is an account of Rabbi Chanina's teaching. And what is that? Dama Rabbi Chanina, Devar Torah, according to the biblical law, what's in the written Torah, echad dinim manos ve'echad dinim nefashos. Both monetary cases and capital cases, b'derisha uv'chakira, require inquiry and questioning. What does this mean? Shenemar, and where do we learn this? Mishpat echad yelochem. Since it is stated, there shall be one law for you. Therefore, at the biblical level, monetary cases do require inquiry and examination, just as capital cases do. We'll turn the page to the next blot, Gimel. We'll just finish it. Kedei shelo tino deles bifnei liyovin, so that you will not close the door in the face of borrowers. Right? So what's going to happen if you don't properly have laws when it comes to monetary cases? Then people are not going to want to give loans out if it's not going to be fair. And we know that the Jews are supposed to loan money. They're supposed to help each other out without interest. They're supposed to go and help each other out. And they're not going to want to do that if there's not a proper judicial system that they know they can get it back, that they know they're going to get a fair trial. And that concludes the first blot of Gemara Sanhedrin. Thank you so much. And I hope that you learn Daf Yomi. I hope you learn a page of Gemara every single day. May Hashem give you strength and wisdom and insight.